Hey everybody, Joel here to tell you all about WarpZag.
Whoa! You see that? No way.
WarpZag is an amazing piece of magic and it gets killer reactions every single time. It's easy to do and it gets reactions like this. I have taken two classics in magic, gave them both a facelift, then fused them both together. And the best bit, this can be performed modular.
Watch this. Are you ready? If I take the card, I'll do it really slow so you see it happen. You ready? Watch. Remember that click? That's the moment. Look.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, check this out. Look, it goes right back. Holy shit. In fact, I tell you what we can do. If we take this half and we take this half, I can actually take both halves and fuse them right back.
Yeah, that's nice.
I have just seen WarpZag by Joel Dickinson, and oh my gosh, this thing is absolutely amazing. First of all, when I saw it, it fooled me completely. It's easy to do, it resets, and it's probably, no, it isn't probably, it is definitely the best version of card warp I have ever seen.
But watch this. If I take it, look, give it that little shake, it instantly fuses right back together.
It is so visual, it is so fooling, it is so deceptive, and it is so deceivingly simple.
Hi, I'm Matt. I've been using WarpZag for a few weeks now. It is awesome. The reactions are mint. They're going to fold that card up, put it straight in their wallet. They're going to keep that as a souvenir for God knows how long and be sharing that story to all their mates. It is awesome, mate. Top job as always.
Every single WarpZag is handmade right here in the Miracle Studio. Now, I know what you're thinking. You want to see a full performance, right? Let's do it.
It gets my highest recommendation.
You need to pick this up now. It's amazing.
Hello, it's Joel here and welcome to the Miracle Studio. We are about to take a little look at WarpZag and exactly how it works. So, whilst you've got the package in your hand, take a little look at the actual packaging with the envelope. That envelope has been framed permanently by the piece of cardboard. Therefore, it is going to protect your gimmick. All right. And then when we take a little look at the gimmick, you will see that the gimmick comes in two separate parts. You've got your little piece here. And of course, we've got the house of the gimmick, which is the full playing card in its actual self. All right. Embedded in this card are 4 magnets. The playing card is 2 cards thick. This is going to come in handy a little bit later on with some of the routining that I'll show you very shortly. But here we have 4 different gimmicks, 2 on the left hand side and 2 on the right hand side. And then if we take a little look right here, of course you will see that we have your little plate. This little gimmick right here, as you can see, fits perfectly on the playing card. Now, it will fit more snug and more securely around the border on just one single side of the card. So as I can see down here, it doesn't fit perfectly well, so therefore it's definitely designed to be on the other side of the card. So remember, it will align very, very well with just one side of the actual gimmick. All right, and another little thing that I want to point out is that these cards have not been glued with a solid drying glue. They've actually been glued with a malleable glue, and that way it ensures that the gimmick will last a lot longer. So if you take a little look at your gimmick, you might see that the sides of the gimmick are just raised very, very slightly. If this is the case, it's not a problem because the glue is malleable. We can just give it a soft little tap like this, and that will put it right back into position. So all we do to set up the gimmick before we start performing is just place it on like so, and that is your gimmick set, ready. So let's now get into the handling of WarpZag. So now let's take a little look at a basic handling for WarpZag. Let's have a little look. Imagine we've just performed a full routine with somebody's playing card, and their playing card has also been signed. I'll give that just a moment to dry. And now what we're going to do is just fold this playing card in half, and then I'm going to fold it in half the other way. When I fold this, I make sure that the folds are really, really nice and close to the borders, so the edges actually touch, and then we've got a really nice solid fold in the card. I'm also going to fold the card back on itself. You can just do this fold whilst you're performing. You can either talk whilst you're doing it, or just go ahead and fold up the playing card. All right. So what I'm going to do now is, once it's folded lengthways like this, I'm also going to fold it again widthways, and I'm going to give it a really good squeeze. And I'm going to go back on it and give it another really good squeeze like this. And then I'm just going to open up the card and throw that down. Okay. In reality, I've talked you through that. I didn't need to, but that is going to take just a couple of seconds. All you're doing is folding a card back on itself a couple of times. Then we're going to appear just to pick up a random playing card, but the random card is of course the gimmicked card. All right. But no attention's drawn to this. But one thing that I like to do is just throw both cards down on the table together. Now notice when the gimmick, this portion here, is facing everybody who's watching, the gimmick is less visible. It's not visible anyway because it's nicely camouflaged in, but it's much more invisible than this way, because here we can see that little line just like so. So if the gimmick is facing towards those who are watching, then it just becomes that little bit more invisible, and it's a little bit of peace of mind. Now what we're going to do is the first phase of the routine, and the first phase is the section where we transform the card so it becomes inverted visually to your spectators. And the way we do this is simply by taking the playing card and folding it around to the left hand side. And what I mean by that is the fold of the card is facing the left hand side, okay, and the middle is facing the right hand side. And all I've got to do at this point is pick up the gimmicked card. I can rest this on, but notice when I rest it on, what I'm really doing is resting the card on top of the gimmick like this. Okay, because now we have the choice. We can leave it sat here, and now I'm going to make it look like it's going to invert. So what I do to do this is just pinch the card with my index finger and thumb, so both cards are pinched together, and this allows, with a little push, for me to just grab hold of the actual gimmick right here, and also the participant's playing card, just like this. Now, I'm really overemphasizing this so you can see it. In reality, when you do this, it all happens very quickly. I can just come in, I can grab the card, and I can create this illusion that the card is turning around, all right? But one little thing that I like to do, instead of grabbing that card, what we can do is slide this across, this little gimmick over here, to this side. And this all happens as I'm displaying this card. And now the gimmick will sit on the other side. Okay, and the benefit of this is simply for this. I can show the playing card, I ask the participants to watch, and I demonstrate that nothing has happened. But now I'm going to square it up just like before with this actual gimmick. I snap, I have another look and make sure it's aligned neatly, and I come back and I grab exactly as I did before. And now when I come down, it's inverted. It looks like the card has completely inverted itself, just like this. And I quite like to move it around a little bit and really create this illusion. We can go up quite high, we can come down low, and it really does create this nice effect. And now all I'm going to do is go back and reconnect the magnet. So if I was to let go, of course this will remain here, just like this. And then what I'm going to do is pinch the card again with my finger and thumb. Any finger and thumb is absolutely fine. I'm going to re-grab the card, and now we're going to create the illusion of the card warping back. It looks like this. So the way to do that is just like this. All I'm going to do is move the gimmick and the playing card up simultaneously, and what will happen, it will create this brilliant illusion. In reality, the card is just re-magnetizing itself, and then I come back down. So all I'm effectively doing is pushing this little plate right here, right back up as the card comes down. But from the front, we create this really nice illusion, just like so. Notice the card goes right back down as I'm still shaking the card, and this really puts all the emphasis on this card. And when I perform this, I always place the Queen of Hearts right back down on the table. I know that some friends of mine who have been performing this already, they like to just keep hold of this card as they put emphasis over here, and that is absolutely fine as well. Now, we are free to move on to the second stage, but before we do, let me just show you some little handling tips. One thing that you can do if you're worried about some emphasis from the spectators on this card, once we have executed that little change, okay, I'll show you exactly what I mean. Once we've performed this change like this, we can keep hold of this, we can keep shaking this, but what I can do now is just pull this back and place the little gimmick into a finger palm like so. And that removes this completely and places it here. So if anybody does look here or they pick this up, they've got absolutely nothing to find. Of course, there are 4 magnets in the card, but the reality is they're not going to find them because they're very, very thin and they're hidden in the card. It will take up to a little bit of scrutiny, and I don't think anybody's going to pick that up and think it feels thick, because the reality is it doesn't. It's all stuck together and it all looks great. So now we can hand this out for examination if you want to. You don't need to. And then once I'm relaxed that nobody's burning this card, or if they've had a look at the card, which they most unlikely will, anyway, I can now place this little gimmick right back on to the card, and this could not be any easier. In reality, it will just look like this. I've placed it on. But all I'm going to do is just pick it up with both hands as this card's on the table or in my spectator's hands, and I'm just very simply going to slide that right back on just like so. And again, if I want, I can throw this back down now because everybody's had a little look at this, and then I'm just going to fold the card the other way so it comes back like this. Then I'm free to pick up the card once again. And now we're going to create the second stage of the effect, and this is so easy to achieve as well. Okay, so all I do is place the card on just like before, and we've got again a couple of choices here. You can, if you want, pinch it and bring it down as we did earlier, and that will work perfectly. Or what we can do is, just because of the fold in the actual card, it will grip onto the edge of the actual gimmick. So now when I apply a little bit of pressure and I push downwards, it will take the gimmick with the actual card. Though it does work perfectly well just to grab hold of the actual card and move that down like so. And now what I'm going to do is just pinch onto the card right here, because now we're going to be going into the zigzag effect, okay? And now by pinching here, it looks like just one single card. And if for any reason anybody can see the other bit of the card right here, that's great. That's going to sell the actual illusion, because in reality, we should be able to turn it around a little bit. And it's great because you can actually see the actual card, the participant's card, and there's nothing to worry about and nothing to hide. So now what I'm going to do is secretly reverse this card and bring it right back up to here, like this. And this is all done in front of the spectators. Okay, so what we can do at this point is like so. In the motion of turning the card over, I've also folded the card on itself. So let me get to the other side so you can see this clearly. So this is going to go from here, and I'm going to be going from here to here, okay? And the way this works is just like this. And that is going to put me in this position. So in one swift motion, that will look just like this. And you can now pinch with just one single finger. And that movement doesn't need to be motivated. I know motivation is always a really nice thing, but the reality is we're on to the second phase. So now there's a lot of attention on what's actually happening, and people are expecting something magical to happen. In fact, at this point, they are most likely expecting to see the exact same thing again. So it's great just to do that little move and say, watch the card. And now all I'm going to do is pinch the card here. I'm going to now move the piece down as I snap, and I just move this down, and we create this brilliant zigzag illusion. And now, to be honest, it's just a matter of playing around and figuring out a nice piece that you like to do. So what I like to do at this point is just move the first piece down like so. I grasp that little piece and move back. I grab that piece again and move, and then I move this piece over here. We can come in, and now the one thing you might be worried about are these little pieces here. If you are, it really doesn't matter, because the first piece, let's go back right to the beginning, just so I can emphasize this piece. So we've got this little movement here. Notice how I'm pinching and hiding this piece right there. If you are concerned or you are worried about this, you can always pinch this piece throughout the entire part. So there is nothing for anybody to see. And I'll show you exactly how. We can move it down, we can spin it back, we can move across. I can now move the other piece with the other hand, so we never have to let go of this piece, okay? I can go back like so. Now, once you've played around and manipulated this piece, or these two pieces, what we've got is this really cool little thing where we can stop at this point, we can snap, and we can make it look like the entire card has completely restored itself. And of course, this is just nothing more than a little bit of puppetry. And the way this works is I bring the card back and I align the card right here to this gimmick, and all I'm going to do is rotate on the actual gimmick just like this. And this makes it look like the playing card has completely restored itself. All right, and then when I snap again, I'm free to move it again. I can bring it back, and we can do two together like this. And this is just simply my thumb grabbing hold of the gimmick and moving that card whilst this piece moves over here. All right, so now we're going to get into the restoration of the actual gimmick. And this is really, really nice. This is exactly what it looks like. So all I'm going to do is take this piece and I bring it up. I take piece number 2 and I'm going to appear to remove it like this. But in reality, I have not removed the card. I have simply just moved that piece up whilst appearing to remove it from the card. All right. And the way this works is simply like this. So I can show the piece. I move my thumb up, that's going to reconnect the magnet as my hand comes down, and that in one motion looks like I've just grabbed that piece which is right there. I'll show you it again. So it looks like this, okay? It couldn't be any easier. One last time for a little bit of clarity, let's bring that down. I have moved this piece, the actual signed card, so 1. Now we want to do the next piece quite swiftly during the performance. 2. I place this down whilst I bring this back up, show this apparent piece, show this piece, and now we're going to appear to restore the two pieces together. But in reality, what I'm really doing, well, it looks like this. It looks like it goes in, I restore, spin, and I open the gimmick. All right. And in a more real slowed down variation, just to show you how it works, I show one piece, 2Ps, come in. I'm doing nothing, but all I'm actually doing is opening up the card. But I'm going to make sure my hands are relatively close together when this happens. So I show 1, 2, 3. I come in, I blow, and as my hand comes towards me as I blow, that's when I open up the card. I blow, I grab this, I twist, and I just open up the card. And now I'm free to pick both cards up or hand this out. I can steal this little gimmick off again, just like so, hand that out, and now I'm practically home free. So once this becomes available again, I'm going to take the gimmick, I'll place this on just like so, and now all I have to do is place this gimmicked card. I would generally just throw it into the pack as if it doesn't matter, and then place all the cards in the box and close it up, whilst leaving them with this as a souvenir. But if you would like to, if you want to get a little bit more technical, of course, what you can do is have a duplicate Queen of Hearts. Now we can place the Queen of Hearts on top of the deck, so we would do our full performance. Then when it comes to this part, we've finished, we place this card down, and now I can switch this card for this card here, the Queen of Hearts. There's a couple of different ways that we can do this, so I'll show you them now. As we pick this up with the actual gimmick on, we can execute a top change. So as this is handed out and everybody's examining it, as that goes out to the spectators, the gimmicked card is here. I'm going to come back and I'm going to now do a top change as my other hand comes forwards to grab the box. I throw the regular Queen of Hearts down on the table, and then I'm free to put all of these cards away. Okay. Another way, if you're not comfortable with a top change, there's an even easier way that we can do this. And as everybody's watching this card over here, my other hand will come in and I literally just throw this down on the table and simultaneously place the gimmicked card on top of the deck. And then if we do that in one fluid motion, it just looks like I've thrown the card down. All right, it's very easy to do, couldn't be any easier. In fact, it's a little bit clumsy, but it's one of those things where it just looks like I've thrown it down, and then I place all of these cards back into the box, and you, my friend, are home free. You just performed a brilliant piece of magic with these two cards that are now completely examinable. All right, it's an easy piece of magic to perform. So now let's take a quick look at some extra pointers with this. So one really nice thing is if you want to perform the routine with this gimmick within your pack, of course, you can routine it so you can do so. But because the card is really thick or much thicker, you are free at any point just to bring that gimmick right back up to the top of the deck with a simple cut, because it's acting as a nice thick card. So therefore when I cut, I can either bring this up to the top or the bottom of the deck like this. But the really nice thing about this, with this gimmick right here, don't be scared of anybody seeing this, because the reality is it looks just like a Queen of Hearts. Of course it isn't, because we've got this little shell piece right here. So, you know, it isn't a Queen of Hearts, but there's nothing to be worried about because it looks absolutely brilliant. I have an alternative handling for the second phase of the routine, which is where we go into the zigzag piece. What we can actually do at this point is, instead of placing the playing card on whole like this, what we can do is just fold the playing card like this, and to everybody watching it appears like it's just one long card, but in reality what I've done here is actually folded the playing card up. And the way we achieve this is very simply by hiding half of the card here. We move the card down as I appear to be folding it, and then when I move down and go back up, I just take the other half with the actual card. Okay, it's as simple as that. Obviously it needs to be facing with the index in the right orientation, like so. So now I'm free, I can pick this up. Everybody thinks it's just a single card, of course it isn't. I pick up this and I appear to be placing it behind the gimmick, but instead what I'm really doing is aligning this gimmick like this. Okay, and now I can pinch onto the gimmick and I can slide this down like this, and this way I can appear to show one single card like this, and then go into the split like so. Okay, but keep in mind when I perform this, I personally prefer to do the other variation that I previously taught. It's just so much cleaner and so much easier. We don't have to do this fold of the card and we just go straight into it. We have a second option for the restoration of the card in the card warp phase. Now, what I mean by that is this. So once we have completed the actual card warp effect like so, what we can do is just move right up and the card completely restores itself. So the difference is, instead of shaking the card and it restores, we can just continue by moving up and it looks like the card graduates back to a complete restoration. So let me show you exactly how that works. Of course, we do the card warp phase, but what I'm going to do is come around here and show you exactly how it works. So all I'm going to do is hold both of the cards, I move up, that plate right here will adhere to the gimmicked card, and we carry on moving upwards with their signed playing card. So if we put that all together in one swift motion, it will just look like the card has completely restored itself. So let me show you that again from the front, and there's one other little thing that I want to tackle with you all. That there is the restoration, as I said, but the one thing I want to tackle is a potential sound issue, and what I mean by that is this. It is all completely within your control. If you watch very closely, or at least listen, you can hear a click. This is so easy to rectify, and it really is. All you need to do is just apply a little bit of pressure with your finger against the card, and that will just adhere very, very quietly. So if I don't apply any pressure, you get a click. But if you apply that little bit of pressure onto the gimmick and the card at the same time, it's completely silent. All right, it is as easy as that. One thing that I want to address are angles. This is a very angle-friendly piece of magic. You might have noticed earlier on during my explanation that whilst the card was in this position, that you could see two cards. That is purely because I was very relaxed as I was performing it. All we need to do to make this more angle-friendly is simply apply some pressure. And that way, when people are over here, they're not going to be able to see the edge of the card. And by pressure, what I mean is we just apply some pressure onto the folds like this, and it makes it much more angle friendly. As an example, if I relax with the card, it will pop out a little bit, which makes this a little bit less angly. But if I just apply that little bit of pressure during the performance, it's going to hide that angle really, really well. So the answer to make it more angle friendly is simply by applying some pressure. And remember, keep it quiet as well by applying a little bit of pressure. So there we go. That is the explanation for WarpZag, and I really hope you enjoy it. Thank you very much for watching. Take care of yourselves and goodbye.